Hi guys, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to take a look at your title and introduction for both your report and your proposal. So in your report and proposal, you always need to include a title. It's necessary as part of your organization marking criteria. If you don't include a title, you will get a lower mark for organization. So your title needs to be factual, it needs to be concise, and it needs to be specific. They're the three things, okay? It doesn't need to be entertaining, it doesn't need to be funny. It needs to be factual, which basically means it can be super boring because you're literally just writing what you're going to write in the report. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples then. So I've got a question here for you. So as part of an initiative to improve student services at your university, you were tasked with evaluating the effectiveness of current mental health support systems available to students. In your report, you should outline what existing services are provided, assess the accessibility and impact of these services on student well-being, and make recommendations for improvements based on student feedback and comparison with mental health initiatives at other universities. Okay. So let's take a look at these examples. So I've got two examples of titles here. We've got mental health services at university, and we've got improving mental health services at Oxford University, a report. Okay, so the first one, I know I said that you need to be concise, but this is far too short. It doesn't really tell me much. Mental services at university. What about mental services at university? Which university? Are the mental health services good? Are they bad? Do they need to be improved? It's very vague. Okay, you need to be concise, not vague. So the second one, improving student mental health services, it's much more concise. Where? At Oxford University. What is it? A report. Okay. So you do need to include the word report in your title if you're writing a report. Same for proposal, you need to include the word proposal. So you can either say a report on XYZ or XYZ : a report. So again, clear, concise, specific. So I've got another question for you here, and I want you to write a proposal for this question, okay? So you've observed that the current facilities at your workplace are not fully accessible for employees with disabilities. You can recognise the need for improvements to ensure inclusivity and equal opportunity for all staff members. You decide to write a proposal to your company's management explaining the importance of enhancing disability access in the office. In your proposal, outline specific areas where access could be improved, suggest practical modifications, such as installing ramps, accessible restrooms, adaptive technology, and describe how these changes could benefit all employees and promote a more inclusive workplace culture. So I'm going to give you a minute, and I want you to write a title for this proposal. Remember, it needs to be clear, concise, factual, and specific. Okay? I'm going to give you 1 minute. Pause the video as well if you need to. Okay? Have a think. Look at exactly what you're writing about. You can, for example, because this is a workplace, you can invent the name of a company, okay? Or you can use a real name, right? Google or whatever, okay? You can just invent it or use a real one. It's up to you. No one's going to check. It's fine. But make it specific to that workplace. Don't put at my workplace because that's kind of useless, okay? So you've got 1 minute, okay? Have another read. Pause the video. And then when you're done, come back and I'm going to show you what I wrote for this title. Okay, you've got 1 minute. Off you go. Pause the video now. All right, so hopefully you've written a title there. Obviously I can't see what you've written, but this is what I've written. Okay, proposal to enhance disabled access for MagTech employees. Okay, so we've got the word proposal. For what? To enhance disabled access. For where? MagTech. For who? Employees. Okay, so maybe that's a good idea. I never thought this idea just came to me now, actually. But maybe it's a good idea to think who, what, where, why. That might help you to keep concise. Okay, what is it? A proposal. Why are you writing it? To enhance disabled access. For where? MagTech. For who? Employees. So maybe try and keep that who, what, where, why in your head, and that'll make it a bit easier to just write a quick title. Your title should literally take you 30 seconds. You should not be spending 5 minutes writing a title. I don't know why a lot of times I have students that really sit there and struggle to write a title. 1 minute max, because you've only got 45 minutes to write the rest of your proposal. Okay, so 1 minute writing your title, that's it, done. Next up is your introduction. This is going to come after your title. So your introduction for your report and your proposal are basically the same. Okay, so you're essentially just paraphrasing the question that you've been asked. Okay, so that's all you're writing, is just a paraphrase of the question. Okay, so you're just basically going to have 2 sentences, again, both for your report and proposal. Sentence 1 is going to be the aim of your report and your proposal. Why are you writing it? Sentence 2, you're going to briefly state what you're going to analyse or recommend. So they're going to be like your 2 or 3 points from your instructions that you've been asked. You're just going to paraphrase those, for example. So, same question that we just looked at as part of the initiative to improve student services at university. You were tasked with evaluating the effectiveness of current mental health support systems available to students. In your report, you should outline what existing services are provided, assess the accessibility and impact of these services on student well-being, and make recommendations for improvements based on student feedback and comparison with mental health initiatives at other universities. Okay, that's your question. You can see here that I've highlighted some important information. In the exam, definitely do this, okay? You can highlight on the exam paper if you want, that's fine. Just go ahead and highlight what are the key points, and that's basically what you're going to put in your introduction, okay? So this was the introduction that I wrote here. So this report aims to examine student mental health resources at Oxford University based on a student survey. Not only will the services' efficacy and availability be analysed, but recommendations to enhance support systems will also be given. Okay. So let's take a look at what this includes then. First of all, we have our aim. Okay, this report aims to... Second of all, we have what you're going to analyse. Okay. The service's efficacy and availability is going to be analysed, and then we're going to give recommendations. You can also see that I've used an inversion form, not only but also. So like we said, you can definitely include inversion in your introduction. And you can see I've used passive form as well. So availability will be analysed. We've also got another passive here, will be given. Okay, so I'm avoiding using those personal pronouns to make it sound a bit more formal. And again, I'm using inversion form to make it sound more formal as well. So that's a rough idea of what you need to include in your introduction. Just 1 sentence for the aim, 1 sentence for what you're going to analyse. Make sure to include inversion and passive forms. Okay, now it's your turn. You're going to write an introduction for a proposal here. If you're using Pear Deck, you can write directly on this slide. You can write your response. If not, just write it on paper or a computer, whatever you like. All right, so here's your question. So again, we just looked at this question. This is the question about workplace disabilities and improving disability access in the workplace. So you're going to write an introduction for this. Again, what's the aim of your proposal? What are you going to analyse or recommend? And remember, try to be a little bit persuasive here. Okay, so remember, you're kind of tapping into emotion here. So maybe you can add in some adverbs or adjectives to tap into emotion. You can use adverbs as well. Okay, so try to just be a little bit more persuasive rather than informative like I just showed you in the report. So, pause the video here, okay? Take as long as you need. In the exam, again, I would spend limited time on this. It's only 2 sentences. So I would spend like 5 minutes. 5 minutes on your introduction, because you want as much time as possible for your main paragraphs. Okay. So take 5 minutes now, pause the video, reread the question, and then write your proposal. When you're done, come back, and I'll show you the introduction that I wrote for this proposal. All right, pause the video now, and off you go. All right, so hopefully you've written an introduction for this proposal then. I'm going to show you one that I wrote for it. Let's take a quick look here. So mine was, the purpose of this proposal is to underscore the necessity of improving accessibility for employees with disabilities at MagTech. So that's my aim. Not only will specific areas for enhancements be identified, but practical modifications will also be recommended. So I've got some inversion in there. I've also got some synonyms. So instead of using the vocabulary from the instructions, you need to try and use some synonyms. This is quite important. Try not to lift vocabulary directly from the instructions, because you're basically kind of copying the instructions. You need to paraphrase the instructions. Okay, so try to use some synonyms rather than just copying words directly. So not only will specific areas for enhancements be identified, but practical modifications will be recommended. I've also got a passive form here, will be recommended. In addition, it intends to highlight how such changes could foster a more inclusive atmosphere and ensure equitable opportunities for all staff members. So again, we've got synonyms: highlight, foster, identify. Okay, so you can take some of those words there. Words like this are very useful for your report and proposal. Kind of C1 level vocabulary is really going to help you. Okay, so you can see that I've included a bunch of things here, synonyms, inversions, but there is one thing missing from this paragraph. Can you figure out what it is? I'm missing something absolutely vital to this paragraph. Have a look, have a read, see if you can figure out what I'm missing. I'll give you a minute. You can pause the video and have a read. Come back if you think you've found it. All right, if you still need more time, pause the video. If not, I'm going to tell you what's missing. What is missing is the subheading, okay? Don't forget your subheadings. Every paragraph in your report and your proposal needs a subheading. Very important. To get your marks for organisation, you need a subheading above every paragraph. A subheading is like a mini title above every paragraph. Your introduction subheading will just be introduction, just the word introduction. Same with your final paragraph, it will either be recommendations or conclusion, and your body paragraphs depend on what you're writing about. Okay, it's just going to be like the main topic of your paragraph. That's going to be your subheading. So always include subheadings. Okay. All right, so that's it for your introduction. That's what you need to include in a report and a proposal to get those top marks. So in the next lecture, we're going to be taking a look at body paragraphs for a report. Report only, because this is where your report and proposal are going to differ. Okay, so head on over to that next lecture and I'll see you there.